and just the combo on his lane is nice, and with both, I mean, he just enabled everybody on this team. Also, the rocket flare vision to set up the chronospheres. He actually does everything for every single hero on this team. This is one of the best clock picks I've seen.
Well, we do see the Storm in the end coming out, and that means we're going to have a Primal Beast played by Ace. That will be his first Primal Beast play of the International. But does this mean, this Storm pick, does this mean that you guys are a little bit more on board on the potential of a Game 3?
Because I've been thinking about like what options do they have, and this seems like a good option. Something that doesn't rely on any cooldown. You can play very aggressive. We did say that they need this.
The game as well.
Yes, exactly, and feels much better. I would say I'm still a little worried for their damage output once Faceless Void gets to his like 3-4 item timings.
Yeah, we're gonna find out. I was loving hearing you guys' thoughts, but I think people also are gonna love hearing the thoughts of Seb, who's standing by with slacks.
5 seconds remaining.
Absolutely, my friends. I am here with the Train Robot. How you doing? Fantastic. So, Primal Beast, pretty good hero. You only picked 5 counters against him. Do you think that you have enough to take that beast down?
Should be fine.
All right, should be fine. Should be fine. Now, how much did you guys prepare for this match against GAIMIN Gladiators? I know that you guys are the favorites always to win TI, so they're very prepared for you. Did you do a lot of research against them?
I mean, it's like 4 or 5 hours straight preparation.
So, oh, God, he's not lying! Shut up in the crowd! All right, thank you very much. All right. Are you going to win this game? Give it to me straight, Choo-Choo Train.
I guess.
I guess! All right! Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me pass it over to the most successful podcasters in all of Dota 2. They paid me $100 to say that. Sunspin, that's Hendren.
Thank you very much, Sir Action Slacks. Another very good interview. Hopefully, an Emmy Award-winning interview. Just that specific one.
I love the confidence when you can just tell the coach, like, I guess. You just know it's in the bag, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
I'm so inspired. You know, I think coaches saying, I guess, have a higher win rate than coaches saying we are definitely winning this game, at least at this event so far.
I would love to see the statistics on that.
Yeah.
One-word answers, if that equates to more wins, or if they're eloquent, perhaps they lose more.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. But
kind of like me. I talk a lot, but not so much play, you know? So
yeah.
It makes sense. It really does make sense.
You know what else makes sense? That this is game 2, because game 1 is over. Not sure if you're aware of that, Cinderin, but
that's true.
Game 2 of this lower bracket matchup between GAIMIN Gladiators and OG. OG with a 1-0 advantage so far. And they're looking to close this series out while GAIMIN trying to hold on to their TI hopes and try and force a game number 3. We're finally going to see some Primal Beast action, but the panel kind of talked about a lot of bad matchups from my boy. Talk to me about it.
Yeah, so Clockwork is already a little bit of a tricky one to deal with because you're a mobility-based hero, right? As Primal Beast, you really need to move around and navigate the fight, and you have an ability that gives you a lot of armor, but in the way, like Clockwork is 90% magic damage, he has a lot of ways of interrupting your movement with cogs, with hookshot, battery assault is annoying, and you have Pango ult that's going to be annoying for you. You have Ice Path that you need to navigate around, Viper Strike, and then the final last pick that OG get, which kind of reminds me a little bit of what they did in game number 1. They picked this Faceless Void, so if the Primal is going off lane, he's going to be playing against Void, which is one of Primal's worst lane matchups. You can just time walk away from the trample. And if he's going mid, he's going against Pango, who can just swashbuckle away from the trample. So they kind of cover their bases here where they see GAIMIN Gladiators going for a top-tier pick, and they just make sure there's nowhere he's going to be truly happy to play. So it's a very disruptive way of thinking about drafting that not only do their heroes make a lot of sense together, but there's one singular hero in the enemy team that you're really just trying to make miserable, and that's going to be Ace. So curious to see how he performs in this game. I think it's a very difficult Primal game.
Yeah. What about the other heroes, though? We have Lifestealer with the Infest Bomb potential into the Storm Spirit, which was the last pick from GAIMIN.
The Storm pick was very good, for sure.
So see if they can execute properly in the mid-game. Try to get some pickoffs here onto OG. How many Midases can you see in this game from OG?
I don't think BZM usually buys Midas on Pango, so I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say 0.
0?
Is
the
Void
Viper Midas.
Maybe Uragi will buy one, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I mean, Faceless Void buys it from time to time, right? So and Amar buys one every game, so I think it could be 2 still.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. It definitely could be. And on the side of Gaming Gladiators, yeah, Lifestealer, probably the only one who would ever buy it, really. If you buy Primal Beast Midas, you're playing the hero wrong. I'll go out and say that right now.
Maybe he needs it real bad this game because of the bad matchups.
I think that's not a good look.
I mean, what kind of itemization can you go for Primal Beast to try to mitigate like the counters that you're going up against?
I mean, you obviously have to get BKB, right?
That's every game.
Yeah,
No,
but you have to get it even more this game. You have to get 2 BKBs this game. Right?
Oh, so a refresher. Okay.
But you don't have mana for that, so you need some sort of item to give you mana. So you're gonna hope that you find.
All right, give me the full list of items that will allow him to have double BKB.
Is he getting the robe or not?
Let's just say everything goes his way.
Okay, BKB phase boots, robe, refresher, and then is wand enough? I don't actually know. It's probably close.
I don't know. His mana pool is atrocious. That's Taiga taking pretty heavy damage in the bot lane here. Dyrachyo pops the rage, take off those poison attacks.
I mean, could also go BKB refresher and 6 mangoes.
Okay, sure, that sounds a little less than ideal.
He has 3 of them already. He's halfway there.
So he just needs to not use them.
He almost has his first major item, 6 mangoes.
Maybe if he could get the mango tree, then it would be possible.
Oh.
Right, then you don't have to buy
Yeah,
it.
missed that so much, Misha.
Onslaught with the trample, lots of damage. I mean, you talked about how Yuragi can deal with this, but what about Jakiro?
Yeah, Jakiro is not particularly good against Primal in lane, so Misha definitely has to be careful about positioning. One of the upsides to Jakiro over certain other supports is it has pretty high base HP, so getting the full kill is difficult, but you put a lot of pressure and you do economic damage. Jakiro's probably going to have to buy salves here if it keeps getting pressured. But yeah, it could be better, it could be worse. There are certain other supports that absolutely get bodied by Primal, and Jakiro is not really in that category, but it's also not the greatest.
We are many minutes away from this happening, so I don't know why I'm bringing it up now.
Tier 5 neutral items?
No, actually, for once you're incorrect.
I can't believe it.
Well, I'm bringing this up because I know you're such a big fan of Clockwork, but
I am.
seeing the Aghanim Scepter at this tournament, it hasn't been picked up as much because it's a lot of it is support and you have to get the gold, but when it's picked up, it feels impossible to play against a lot of the time.
Yeah, I think the biggest upside to it is just the vision, right? If you're playing support Clock and you just spam out the rockets in key moments, you get a lot of information, which is very powerful. I do think in this game, Taiga is more likely to go 4-step, though. I just think it's too good to not buy. You're playing against Lifestealer, you're playing against Primal Beast. Oh, Taiga, by the way, taking some hefty damage down here. We'll be fine, though.
Yeah, has to be careful with that Ghoul Frenzy, of course, level 1. Very important spell for Lifestealer.
I mean, unless they see incredible value in getting the multiple rockets, I think the best Clockwork build in this game is probably 4-step Lotus. Get the Lotus against the Global Silence for any teammate of your choosing so you can save them. It's a great way of countering Storm Spirit because he can't really Vortex unless he BKBs. And the 4-step just amazing, right? Primal, Lifestealer, even Storm. If the hero at least turns around before they get pulled by Vortex, you can reset their position pretty well. I'm gonna trade again.
It could be very annoying as Dyrachyo has to pop the old rage and just walk out. I mean, from BZM's perspective on the Pango, when you're going up against the likes of, like you said, the Global Silence, which can be really annoying. What's the Yuragi? Oh, the Trample.
He has time lock again.
Though. But what kind of itemization for BZM? Are you having to go BKB at some point? We used to see Lotus Orbs back in the day, but that hasn't really been as much of a thing for the mid Pango. Or you're relying on your team to get
I kind of like Diffusal here still, right?
Well, you're going to go for that regardless, right? But like,
yeah, after Diffusal, I don't know, is BKB enough?
Accelerate?
Yeah.
That's going to be first blood for Amar. And Dyrachyo has to be careful. He's going to pop the rage, though.
This bottom lane got basically twice as strong when Taiga hit level 3. It is such a huge turning point for Clockwork's ability to play offensively. Like, heroes that can usually somewhat trade with you just get absolutely destroyed all of a sudden because you more than double the damage of Battery Assault. Goes from 20 to 45 from that level 1 to 2. One of the biggest spell upgrades in the entire game, in my opinion. All right, good setup.
Mid with the Frostbite, a lot of damage to BZM, but he gets off the swash.
Oh, the miss!
Miss from Boom.
Oh, he still got
low ground, but he still finds the kill in the end.
Very close.
That was very close to being extremely unfortunate for Boom.
If Taiga had enough mana for Cogs, he might have actually survived there. They find the Jakiro.
They get trampled down, and Yuragi gets off the time dilation. He's not going to be able to likely find a kill unless he gets a timely bash here on
Any bash? Any bash?
No.
No bash. This reminds me of when I play Faceless Void.
Okay. Give me the deets.
I think sometimes it's tempting to not skill time lock because it just doesn't work when you're playing the hero. I understand why other players skill it though, because it's really good on them. So.
Yeah, so it seems.
Yeah.
But BZM in the mid lane, 36-5 versus the 28-6. Despite that death, was ahead of the CS. But we can see on the network, essentially even, all things considered, as he is now level 6, so the Rolling Thunder available. I mean, from the Storm Spear's perspective,
Hearing an onslaught. Total miss there.
Yeah, he does take down a lot of trees, though.
That's true. Is that one of the predictions for this game? No, it is not.
Those are my favorite, yeah. I missed the community challenge to kill trees.
Dyrachyo needs to be careful here. Has the phase boots, which is very, very useful against the Clockwork.
Yep, Tofu gets up the last word, but BZM with the Rolling Thunder.
Oh,
nice juking from Tofu.
Fancy
Still gonna get gone on, though. I don't know if he's going to hit him a second time. No. Tofu definitely has his dancing shoes on as he's able to only get hit once.
I believe this is what some people refer to as NA driver. That's
okay,
what that
sure. Celery, he's going to get soloed down. Amar actually gets credit for that kill. Now the Viper strike onto Dyrachyo, attempting the TP out. Oh, he dies in the fountain. Oh, dear. Very unfortunate sequence of events for GAIMIN Gladiators in this bot lane. That feels awful, so he's going to have to make the walk of shame. And, I mean, do you have to go to the jungle? Because obviously Viper Strike, now that that's online, very low cooldown. It's
not only that, Amar's going to be level 7 and you just cracked level 5. This bottom lane is over. The problem is, lifesteal jungle is pretty slow, and you can at least still somewhat sustain yourself down here. And I think if you leave Maiden down here, she's just going to get dove non-stop, right? Yeah. So you probably kind of have to just go there and pick up the pieces and get what you can. But yeah, Amar with a complete dumpstring in this lane now. 1,400 net worth ahead of Dyrachyo 8 minutes in. Effectively 300 more GPM if you think about it that way. That is, that's scary if you're GAIMIN Gladiators. This bottom lane, definitely they could not afford it to go this poorly from the get-go.
I can see that it started as a smoke and now an Invis rune topped for Boom, who's now in the OG triangle, but Taiga.
Getting the Viper here would be a really, really good play to try to bring back Dyrachyo. I think this is the right idea with this Invis rune, and it looks like Amar has no idea.
There's the initiation. He has to stand his ground with the Nether Toxin and the right clicks. It's actually
trade him
he's
away,
just gonna rot away inside. So it's a 1-for-1, and now Celery with the rotation of BZM will be taken out. So what looked like it was going to be a clean pickoff for GAIMIN Gladiators, not to be, and it might be even more as Boom has to expend a lot of mana, but Taiga, not quite level 6 yet.
Maybe not, actually.
He's catching up. Shield crash, and he's going to get locked down into oblivion, so another kill for OG.
And that is another big part of why Amar is so strong on this hero, is that even when the enemy team is going for his Viper to try to solve the lane after it's been lost, if his teammates are fast at rotating, Viper is a pretty hard kill. You can see Amar going for the traditional item build of...
Oh, Chronosphere, and Amar is on the other side as well.
That's a goner.
And uses the Viper Strike just to ensure another kill on a core hero for GAIMIN.
What do you think about Amar's item build? I don't think I've ever seen this before.
What do we got here today? Dragon Lance?
Wraithband Null Talisman.
Oh, I didn't.
And 2 branches, no stick. Okay. He's getting the mana regen from the Null, and then he's not buying stick. This is one of those do not try it at home moments. Don't do this at home.
I'm sure people will.
You, or do it at home. Maybe it's easy to pull off and look good on.
Yeah, that is odd, but Amar always has his reasons for...
I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he has bought this multiple times before and I just haven't noticed, but it just stood out to me. This is an item combination you very rarely see, Wraith plus Null.
Uh-oh.
Good steal there from Boom, though. He got some of it.
Indeed. He's gonna take
Oh, no.
Will take down eventually, though, to Misha. And now Celery looks to be next, potentially. Not even needing the Rolling Thunder.
God.
And GAIMIN they're getting punished every single angle of the map right now.
That is a kill I would have never expected there. The fact that OG finds that with that combination of Jakiro and Pango was really, really good. And it was on the edge, too. I think he died from the last tick of Dual Breath. It's the very last second, so also close call.
Uragi, the global silence, the Infest out, and they do claim themselves the Faceless Void. And it's hard not to look at a scoreline because it's a 3K lead for OG, but Taiga, he's going to be the next to fall, it looks like.
Okay.
So GAIMIN able to get some important kills here to try to get back in this game.
Well, they've also taken half the mid tower, so not too bad. Great rotation there, good first global. Usually what Faceless Void does so well against Primal, which is also what happened in lane, right, is that you go on him and he just time walks away. But when you do have that global silence and you time it well, you start off the onslaught where Void is like, oh, they're going on me, and then you global him and he can't solve it. Obviously Void will be itemizing against this eventually, but not yet.
Mbappe dành cho Fabio Ruiz.
All right, some laughing, some gibberish a little bit here and there, but worked out.
I like Amar's advanced call of kill, kill, kill. Good strategy there. I do believe that is a winning strategy most of the time.
Yeah, Tofu, he's dead.
Kill, kill, kill.
That's definitely a throwback to Eternal Envy days, right? Just repeat the same word.
He would still be saying kill now.
It's just like an endless loop. Recursive loop if you're a programmer.
Why has anyone ever made an Eternal Envy remix? It's like
I'm sure
they have that as like it'd be a pretty, I was going to say a pretty good beat, but maybe not. But it would be a beat.
I've actually seen one for sure.
You have?
Yeah, you can just Google it later.
Yeah.
But OG
I will definitely do that.
Ace and company in the driver's seat right now. I mean, what does GAIMIN need to do? The Infest Bomb was great, but obviously the global silence was needed for that kill.
Yeah.
Very long cooldown.
They have global again in 10. I think you make another move like that.
So just do everything off global cooldown.
Not everything, but you need to use global. So whenever you have it, you should make a move, and when you don't have it, you maybe need to be a little bit more creative with the plays that you make, but when global is up, there's just no excuse for not finding a big pick, and it's going to happen right now.
They're going to spawn him, he swashbuckles to the creeps, which actually gives him a little bit of extra space. But there, he's going to get silenced and eventually brought down.
It cost Boom
Yes, it did, but he dodges the hook shot. He's going to be spotted, but I don't think they can close the gap in time. The ice path just barely not in time.
And that is why Taiga's nickname is What Can You Do? Sometimes you just miss.
And Dyrachyo focusing on the tier 1 tower will have to rage away as the rest of OG have come in. And they've brought this back for sure.
That was a very fortunate swash, to be honest. Like, that play got so much harder than it had any business doing because the perfect timing of the swashbuckle as Storm was jumping, and he had no way of knowing that. So just pretty fortunate there. But also, again, Boom at least getting away from that is really great news for him. He's closing in on the Witchblade. Maybe he can solo Void with that plus global? I think, because Void has treads Midas, right? Like, Uragi is very far away from any defensive item that's going to solve the global. He's probably going to go Manta after the Maelstrom, I would imagine, or BKB, one or the other. But until that point, I think Storm has his number. And they could even kill him with an Infest Bomb, I think, without global, as long as they have that Witchblade. Should be enough. Taiga is going to find Celery.
Indeed, inside the cogs. Ace is here to watch for the time being, but Dyrachyo pops the rage, and now the focus is on Taiga. Gets off the hook shot. Look at that range from Amar. They end up getting the support kill in the end as BZM gets off. Oh, doesn't want to go for the Rolling Thunder quite, but the Electric Vortex comes in. But you have to be careful to that Storm Spear. The Infest into Ace with the trample. Not enough to finish off Taiga in the end as the Uproar procs. The cogs being used as a wall to be able to maneuver with this Rolling Thunder. That's going to be the death of Ace, and not a Chronosphere on his teammates, but the more important is on the Lifestealer, and Dyrachyo will fall as a result. Not the prettiest of plays, but OG still get it done.
I don't really know if OG could have done much more there. What I'm wondering is if there was a way for Ace to set that up better on the Primal, if they could have been quicker about it and gone on top of the Pango and then get the Pulverize off. But as we talked about pre-game, it is a hard Primal game. You really need to hedge your bets about how you go. We're going to see the replay here. So this is obviously one of the best matchups for Clockwork against the support. Crystal Maiden, super slow, can't really break your cogs very easily once she's in there. You kill her off. Now the Viper Strike going to go into Dyrachyo, forcing the Infest here. And this is where, so when this Storm Jump comes in, if Ace uses his spell combo onto the Pango, I think they actually could potentially kill him there.
I hear the onslaught,
okay,
and that is a lot of damage. Taiga is dead.
That'll do. closing in on BKB now, Ace. We'll give him some more freedom, but it's not a guaranteed connection. You still, when you're pulverizing, you get countered by the Chrono, and you can get countered by hook shot. So it's not one of those primal games where it's just like, all right, BKB unlocked, I'm going to start crushing fools left and right. It's not that straightforward.
Is that a voice line? I'm crushing fools?
Is it?
I don't think he speaks any actual words, just roars.
Yeah, maybe one of them means that, though.
That's true. We don't have a translator on hand quite yet. I do believe
like
he speaks the
Slacks
same
might
language as
be a
Slacks. Man, we are on the same page.
We are on the same
absolutely.
page. We finish each other's
Forces. As Yuragi.
No, we don't.
Yeah, just move on. That was a good joke, Ace.
Yeah.
Inside the cogs, which gets broken right away by Taiga. He is dead again.
Yep.
So they're able to find him pretty consistently, which, like you said, is a pretty important hero to take out before any of these engagements, because it does disrupt a lot of what Ace wants to do.
Oh, that's a long
Big
jump.
zip and BZM. Going to be found, but the swashbuckle out. Ice Path does connect onto Boom, but I'm not sure who wants to fight here. Both sides kind of happy to walk away, it looks like.
I think OG are a little bit timid. They don't have their clockwork, and Global Sounds is up, so that is a pretty difficult fight to take. And they also have the read that there's obviously Gaming Gladiator's vision there, because Pango got jumped in Fog. So I really like the call to not force that as Dire. I think the risk reward was just not good enough for you. So they're going to chill. Wait for Chrono as well. Worth keeping in mind, they didn't have that for that either, so probably even less eager to get anything done. But now that it is online and he has Maelstrom, perhaps OG are considering a move.
Radiant are scanned.
Hearing out the Infest Bomb ready to come, but the action's going to start onto Celery, who's just dead right off the bat. The Global Silence comes, though. Rolling Thunder already activated as Dyrachyo able to claim himself the first kill. They're going to find another on top as Amar falls. The buyback was used on the Celery. As you can see, the BKB already activated from Ace. And Taiga at the root keeps him in place, and Celery's buyback ends up being worth it. So double kill for Boom as GAIMIN taking a big fight for themselves, although BZM able to claim Tofu.
Well, pretty good from GAIMIN. They're really getting value out of this Infest Bomb right now on that Storm. Getting that Viper kill, just negating Amar in that fight. He will have BKB probably in the next big fight, though, so then I think this play will not be successful next time around, unless Lifesteal gets a Desolator, so they have enough in the tank to just bring him down right away when they jump in. But yeah, good stuff for GAIMIN Gladiators. I think in a pretty good position here to proceed in the game, and obviously the BKB on Primal Beast, huge reveal there. Ace was able to create a ton of space in the fight, never got chronoed because Yuragi wasn't really there in the beginning, and Clockwork was on the other side of the fight, so got completely free movement.
Players here.
Yep, and for the rest of the item progressions, we can see that Dyrachyo is essentially halfway to his Desolator, which is going to be a huge power spike. What do you think of Ace working on, we've been seeing a decent amount of this, the Aghanim Scepter from Primal Beast. I mean, the first thing I think of is breaking, but it feels like it's been picked up consistently even without that in mind.
Yeah,
just a lot of damage.
I have to say, I don't have the best read on the, like, when and why this exactly is good in a specific game, but I will say one of the major upsides to buying it is that it gives you the mana for Refresher, right? So when you do take this path, instead of like certain other heroes, in order to get Refreshable by Scotty, you're definitely not doing that. So it's kind of between the Axe and Shiva, and I think in this game maybe he feels like the armor from Shiva is actually not going to do that much because the enemy team has so much magic damage that maybe he's better off getting some more utility this way and then transitioning to Refresher. I think that's probably the line of reasoning. But I'm not certain when I would say the Scepter is better than Shiva, because I think Shiva is really good on this hero in general too, so. But anyway, are those the 3 mangoes he started the game with? That would be hilarious. It might be. I mean, maybe it's just kept. I mean, they give region, right?
Yeah, of course, just a little bit. I'm sure it's really helped out a lot as Smoke.
Does break here. Yuragi
They don't know what direction. It is daytime.
Oh,
Yeah,
guess
on
this is wrong.
the wrong side. Tofu. You have the zip coming in from Boom. Electric Vortex is there. And he's going to easily be taken out, so a big pickoff for GG.
Close to a time walk, but not quite. But that was global expended in half of Storm's mana pool, so maybe OG will look for something here.
Yeah, they're going to start out onto Ace. Already at half HP, pops that BKB. Viper Strike as well, attempting to TP out.
Not enough.
Will be fine. But Celery, not so much. Again, the sacrifice, I think GAIMIN is A-okay with that.
That was, I want to say, about 1/10 of a second away from a Primal Beast kill because Taiga just barely couldn't get on the other side of him to cog him for the knockback stun. So he did just get the BKB off on Primal there. With a level 2 hookshot, that's a kill 100%. Maybe if Taiga hits the angle a little bit better, he kind of got blocked by the creep on the left, so he couldn't find the angle there. And those things matter a lot. Like, that would have been a huge kill. It's the richest hero on the side of Gaming Gladiators that OG just narrowly miss. They do get the CM, as you mentioned, though, and that was a dieback from Celery, so he's on the sidelines for a very long time.
That aura is going to be very missed right now.
Yeah, level 1 aura.
Ace cares about that.
He has his mangoes. Wait, where are his mangoes?
Oh.
Did he eat them all?
I guess.
He's really hungry all of a sudden. Do you ever like shotgun mangoes? Just like 3 back-to-back?
No. I'm surprised that's in the diet of a Primal Beast, if I'm being honest. The Tier 1 tower is done. 3K lead now for OG. When it comes to the old Roche, Cinderin, who would you say has the advantage?
Probably...
Neither of them are like super Roche killers. What about like the team fight in the Roche as well?
Yeah, when Duracho gets a Deso, it definitely gets easier for the Radiant to do it overall, but I don't know, I feel like all the OG, if you put me on the spot, like you have Battery Assault, you have the Disarm from Pango, it all adds up, Poison Attack, lots of damage over time. The fight itself, I think it's completely down to Global Silence. Gaming Gladiators lineup can absolutely fight in any area of the map if they have vision and they get the initiation. If they don't, or Global is on cooldown, I think things get a lot trickier. So Taiga opting to go Shard, I think pretty rare, I would say, that Clockwork buys this first item.
That's true.
But really valuing that vision that you get out of that jetpack. I generally consider Force Staff to just be a better item than this because essentially a lot of the times that you use Jetpack to escape, you could do it with Force Staff too. But what Force Staff also offers is it gives you more mana and you can use it on allies. But obviously the thing that it doesn't give is the flying movement. It's the flying movement.
You don't get a jetpack.
And it doesn't give style points, right? And style points are pretty important on the TI main stage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Generally, the less you care, the better. So Amar's the kind of player you want.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate, actually. I mean, there was a lot of questions when they were at their first LAN this year. How would they react? Because they're very good online. It's literally the same thing, right?
But then they had an interview with the coach, and he was like, I guess we'll win. And everybody was so inspired, they won the whole event. So
can't blame them. This rocket flare will show that the Roche is being taken right now from GAIMIN. You can see OG not that close right now. They're going to smoke up and try to contest, but this Roche is going down.
It seems like the purpose of this from Gaming Gladiators is to bait a fight. I think they know that they're not going to get it in time.
Yeah, they back out for now. So that's what they'll already use as the hookshot comes in, will connect, but there's the Global Silence into the Pulverize, so it looks like Taiga will be the first to fall. Gets off the cogs, oh no, BGM stuck inside the cliff essentially. Again, after the shield crack, finally finds his way to the high ground, and Celery will be the first kill on the side of OG, but the buyback now onto the Jakira, but there we see Uragi with the Chronosphere, all on the lifesteal, and he is dead. 50 seconds of no Duraccio, and that might mean OG gets Roche, but we'll see. There's only a couple kills, but again, the lifesteal is the big one.
The fact that OG come out of that
after the
with
worst
that result,
thunder.
like double, he went from stuck to stuck with Rolling Thunder. Like
it happens.
They're gonna see the replay here of it. So good Global, in my opinion. I think they have to kind of combo break here and get the Clockwork out of the picture immediately, so they get a numbers advantage. At that Pango roll, and then this hero has some of the funniest moments in the game, but they were still okay.
Obviously, at times.
Yeah, Roche, very low.
It is low, but the hook shot onto Ace, and it looks like Uragi is going to get the Aegis, no problem. Ace now cannot get out of the cogs easily, and as a result, OG pick him up. And now
there's a
continue on. Boom. Pretty low on mana, but BZM pretty low on HP. So they reset, being happy taking that first Roshan for themselves. Now they're sporting that 4K lead. And the Global Silences, I mean, they've been consistently getting kills, but in like a Roche fight like that was, essentially, they popped it, they killed the support, and the support just popped back pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, they don't stay dead very long in these. And if you're just getting a support out of the Global Silence, maybe not.
This has been one of the biggest downsides of the hero for a long time, right? Is that when you play it as support, Global is such a huge part of what your hero offers that if you don't get a big payoff,
Yeah.
It's not the greatest. So I think, I mean, given the circumstances there, if he doesn't global, I think that hook shot just leads to a really problematic fight for Gaming Gladiators. So he probably feels forced to use it, but it's like, I think that was a good global, but it was just because he had to. He doesn't want to use it like that. So you want to, in this game, you want a global to kill Faceless. You want a global to kill Pango when you get that jump off, but you kind of have to kill them in the Storm Stun because Pango has the Yules into Blink and Void has the BKB.
We should mention Tofu does have 4 staff, and Celery's working on 1 for himself now as well.
Yep.
So just having these options for the cogs.
Yep, you need that for sure.
It's like your best.
Celery,
but here comes the initiation from Boom. Look at the burst damage, global times there, but Yuragi pops the BKB and the Chronosphere, trying to focus down Celery to start things out. They'll get him relatively easily. Now Dyrachyo gets destroyed. Misha gets credit for that, and Boom able to zip away. And Taiga, no hook shot here. So Boom is fine, but the initiation from GAIMIN looked good initially. Not able to find themselves a kill though, and that was still either way on an Aegis holding Yuragi.
Yeah. They didn't have Ace as a part of the play either, right? So they were lacking that bit of damage and teamfight control that Primal Beast offers. But sometimes it is like this, that Primal Beast either, I'm not sure if that exact moment, if he was pushing out bottom, because if you're all 5 heroes missing all the time, your plays get really telegraphed. Sometimes you have to show a core to give the enemy team the chance of getting out of position or feeling safe when they're not. So it's understandable that Ace is maybe showing here bottom, but it's just a tricky situation when their lanes are this pushed in bottom and mid. Like you gotta take care of that when you're making the play as well. It's hard. And OG's counterplay just again proving to be too strong.
Yeah, Yuragi, he might use the Aegis here. Nope, time loss, he's fine. And now a lot of mana missing from Boom. BZM.
Are they actually
that rolling thunder? Celery, he's gonna be spotted and easily brought down from OG as Ace gets 4-staff action. Now the zip in from Boom. This is going to be an FS bomb. They're going to try to focus down Yuragi. They get him. That's life number 1. But the Storm is already dead. You can see the uproar Aghanim Scepter from Ace doing massive damage as he secures himself a double kill. But now all onto Dyrachyo. Gets bashed up, gets brought down, and it looks like Ace is next on the list. Pops the uproar one more time. Oh, he actually gets a nice pulverize. Triple kill for him. And oh my god! Ultra kill, and then eventually brought down to Yuragi's hand.
How the hell did he get an ultra out of that?
Man, I love that Aghanim Scepter.
I have to say, it's kind of winning me over right now, that X.
I mean, in Aghanim's Labyrinth, that's the hardest parts. And
that was a pretty strong fight. He did more damage than his entire team combined in that fight.
Absolutely. That, I mean, that is an issue, right? Because you're losing the lifesteal and the Storm pretty early in these fights. To see the replay here.
Yeah, so Maiden dead straight off the bat. And that's a very nice use there from Misha of the Psychic Headband to push the Primal Beast away a little bit and buy some time.
This'll come in handy.
This connection is super good though. Really isolating, killing Viper. I think he had 1 second cooldown on BKB there, by the way, Amar. So could have been a very, very different outcome if that had happened 3 seconds later.
Here we go, the uproar. It's gonna feel real good. Oh yeah! Into the pulverize. A hook shot into live. Taiga. Well, BZM is here to try to help.
It's disarmed there.
And GAIMIN just disengaging a bit as okay. Celery with the freezing field just wants to hit the R button this game. Understandable. Pretty hard game to get that off, honestly.
Yeah, if he doesn't use it, I think Taiga was actually trying to bait. He still had stick and mech ready. Wasn't expecting the freezing field damage to pop off there, I think. Wanted the Storm to have to zip to finish the kill, and then maybe they could have made a counterplay. Not worried about it.
What do you think of open wounds being picked up? Like an actual person.
Oh, yeah,
a lot of times lifesteal, you get it off of Roche. I mean, against high HP targets, it's extremely good because it's percentage based for each proc, but and they don't. I mean, the strength here they have is clockwork, so a little bit odd.
I guess it helps him stay on top of targets and
some extra lifesteal.
He becomes a little bit less less dependent on Storm Spirit constantly. I think for the most part in these team fights, Dyrachyo has been kited really hard. We've talked about all the counters to Primal Beast. They're counters to Lifestealer for similar reason, right? Viper Strike, Cogs, Hookshot. If you have this shard, maybe you can stay on top of a target or at least reconnect on them later in the fight. it's a relatively small price to pay for the opportunity that it could offer you, right?
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
But yeah, obviously you would rather get it from Roche, but that has not been happening for Game in this game.
Yeah.
Miragi, no.
Hook shot. Taiga finds Celery again.
He still doesn't
Mara
have
is in
force.
the area to help finish the job. So support kill is Boom. He's going to be seen here from Misha, but pretty hard to catch that Storm Spirit without either. I mean, they have Ice Path Chrono and Hook Shot.
That is quite possibly the worst Gauntlet challenge I've ever seen. You get Hook Shot by Clockwork, isolated, and you don't have Force Staff, and then you challenge him to a duel as Crystal Maiden. I think you cannot use the Gauntlet any worse than that. Very good from Celery. He knew that he was doomed. And I mean,
Celery, he's a memer, so.
You're 31 minutes in and you don't have Force Staff on Maiden. He's having such a hard game. He had the dieback earlier we talked about. He's just been dying every fight. 11 deaths here. And it's...
Oh, we got the zip in onto Amar. Doraccio. That's the BKB from Amar. He's going to try to walk away, and the rest of his team is here. The bash comes out of the swashbuckle, but now the global silence in retreat for GAIMIN. But the Yule Scepter, Boom, out of mana, and brought down again. OG punishing everything that GAIMIN is attempting here in this game number 2.
Amar's just so tanky. This is his standard Viper build. He tanks up Dragonlance Scotty. 3k health, 25 armor. Lifestealer doesn't have the damage.
Yeah, Doraccio, he's gonna be jetpacked on, and the bash comes out from BZM, gets off the open wounds, but it's not gonna matter. He is caught out. And 2 big kills for OG, as they can try to extend this lead now. Of course, Roche, we won't know when he'll spawn for the next 30 seconds, but they do have very good presence on the map, does OG.
Yeah. And Silencer's early efficiency is really starting to fall off now, right? Because this is what usually happens with the hero. Enemies ultimately get the gold to counteract your global. If you're not very farmed and have a refresher yourself, you can't really offer the same dangerous utility in the fights you could before.
Or you survive until you get tier 4 items, and then half of them will dispel global silence.
That doesn't help either. But Silencer has come back into the meta after a long drought, primarily because one of his biggest weaknesses in the past was his laning stage just wasn't as good as it used to be, and he got buffs in that direction that a lot of the times makes it worth it, even if because global is an incredible ability for a decent portion of the game, and the downside isn't as significant as it used to be with the laning stage. But now we're reaching that traditional state of Silencer that happens pretty often in this kind of game, where you feel like you're one button more or less and you need to use it perfectly.
BZM has the
hard spell to use
right now. He's got Ags, he's got Shard. He has the 2.5 second shield crash talent at 15. He is doing a lot. He even has the Brigand's Blade, tier 2 item that he's going to still hold on to because it's that good on this hero. He is going to do a lot of damage in these fights. As long as he's able to get off the Rolling Thunder, he is going to be very fearsome. We have smoke from both sides. As Boom is being he's infested on right now.
Radiant's top tower is...
I mean, we should say one downside to infest bombing, because that used to be the way to play this Storm Nakes combo from back in the day. You're not getting the HP benefit, really. Like, it's not a save. We've seen that from the group stage, how powerful that can be.
That's true. Yeah. If you're always engaging with infest, it never does anything else than that, right?
Yeah.
I will say, though, the way these fights have played out most of the time, I don't know how much of a save it would have really been.
Probably.
I think most of the time that OG isolate them, they're kind of just in trouble regardless of an extra 500 or 1,000 health, however much it is, depending on level. Right?
Okay. Well, they are going for the old Roche. It's already at half HP. And I don't think OG's going to get here in time, so this is going to be a nice sneak.
That is really important, actually, for GAIMIN.
Doraccio regretting buying his shard now. Although Boom will take it, that's a very good one as well.
They put the Aegis on Lifestealer, not on the Storm. Generally considered one of the single best Aegis carriers in the game because of that full mana pool you get back, but...
That is interesting.
I don't know what the logic is here, because a lot of the time when you put Aegis on Lifestealer in this like Lifestealer Storm combination, it's because Lifestealer is going to go and hit high ground, right? That does not seem possible in this game right now.
Yes.
I think you have to find team fights, and that's where I like it more on Storm probably, so you can play more YOLO, just jump in, expend his mana pool, get a second life, and try again. Because as it stands, OG's heroes are just getting so damn tanky. Viper with the 3k health as we've covered. You've got Greaves on clock. Tango's got
Yuragi, he gets initiated on.
Okay,
And he gets blown up from 100 to 0 instantly.
Like I said, they don't have the damage, Shannon. It's
well,
case in point right there.
If they're able to use, yeah, the shard does a lot of damage from Boom, of course, but I mean, like I said, the open wounds, it does percentage-based damage. Doesn't matter how tanky you are. Of course, they do have ways to dispel it, but if you're going to be stun locked, then it eats through you very quickly.
I think Yuragi was really surprised to die there. His 3k health and a Titan Sliver just died in the vortex. Crazy. Obviously, Boom with the level 20 talent has that longer vortex, so helps out. Is eyeing up a BKB now, has the Axe. Yeah, don't count Gaming Gladiators out, even though it looks hard, because that Roche could have potentially changed everything. I think a little bit of a blunder there from OG. It's easy to say from our perspective that that is one they need to defend, but just didn't have the read at the right time that it was happening. And now Gaming Gladiators foot on the pedal, just straight down to bottom tier 2. I don't think OG are interested whatsoever in trying to defend this one.
I will say, even though, I mean, we're seeing them actually hit buildings with his Aegis, right? So that, like you said, having that on Lifesteal, it does help. And that's something that they did not take advantage of last time, is when they got the Roche, they were not able to do anything with it, as the Macropyre used to slow down Ace, but he's going to be fine.
He was eyeing up the Shivas, but he changed it now to Refresher.
He gets hook shot, and the Cogs back in, but the zip in. Oh, the instant bash onto Boom. He has to use his Yules just to keep himself alive. We'll have to zip away now, as even the Infest is used to actually disengage. Looks like Tofu's going to be the sacrifice, but that was an instant bash from the Swatch after the zip in from the Storm Spirit. It's a little bit unfortunate for GAIMIN, but they don't lose too much.
I believe the math on getting a bash when you... Oh, hang on.
They're going to go back in, and you can see they're going to blow up Amar right off the bat. And the buyback from the Silencer just to get the global silence off. And now the Pulverize coming through as well. Double kill for Doraccio, as Yuragi wants to try to fight, at least trying to get the Crystal Maiden. He'll do so. He'll time walk back out. Not a whole lot of mana to speak of now onto the Lifestealer, but he's got that Ghoul Frenzy, Cinderin, which is all he really needs. He gets hookshot though, so Taiga gives himself enough space to walk away. This Diffusal Blade is being very annoying on the side of OG against GAIMIN, but GAIMIN coming out on top of another fight here.
There is still Chrono. That was never expended in that fight. Global Silence on cooldown here from Tofu. Can't protect against Void going for that if he wants to, but yeah, pretty good again from Gaming Gladiators. Sure, you use your Silencer buyback, but I don't think that was too terrible. Aegis, however, only 1 minute left, so I think they would love to find one more fight as long as this is online. Global up in 30 would align very nicely with the play, and you are seeing them all go back to base to get resources, and I would imagine a smoke could be on the menu next. If they have any left, they don't, I think. None of them are on their supports, so maybe that's just not a possible play. Ace is showing himself.
Yeah, he was looking for something. He's going to get gone on again, though, and he's going to be bursted again. He does have buyback if he wants to expend it, but it looks like OG will likely just attempt to get back to base. So GAIMIN, again, with the Aegis, has made such a big difference in these fights that they feel very confident to go in.
That kind of felt like a bait from Yuragi, but again, it's just, he doesn't survive. They don't force staff him, they don't get the hook shot in time. I think that time the Swashbuckle did also bash, so I don't even think he was unlucky on the Pango. It's the wrong read on how tanky he is, really, and I don't really blame him that much. I'm also a little bit surprised with how easily they kill him, but considering they already did it bottom, by now he should know what the game state is, right? So this time around, I think less excusable than the first one. GAIMIN, I mean, this game looked like it was getting really grim for them. I think, yeah, the win probability was 84% for the Dire, and now we're pretty much back to a 50-50. So anyone's game again.
Indeed. Shot, Doraccio no more with the Aegis. He's gonna get pushed back, but he gets the Infest off in a creep, healing up a little bit, trying to get his HP back via right-clicking, but it's not gonna happen. But the reinforcements have arrived as Boom able to get one, but Taiga buys back into the game. Ace pops to BKB, now focusing on Amar with that trample, doing quite a bit of damage. Now we'll have to just TP out, but he gets back. Whoa!
It was on cooldown, I think, from
shield crash. The bash was on cooldown?
Yeah, I think he got a bash from shield crashing on the left. So I think his basher was on cooldown for that one. Because, like, that was a shield crash plus a full swashbuckle. If you don't bash, I don't know, it's like 25% maybe to not get a bash when you use both of those together. I think we're going to see it perhaps in the replay here, so keep an eye on that in the end off to the left. Nice global here, by the way, was almost enough to save the Lifestealer.
Didn't mention the Greaves, by the way, on clock to be able to dispel that. Very nice.
Exactly, but the global just made him take a little bit of time to make that play, and that was enough to not get the full Cogs combo off. But we're going to see here, I think this is where he already crashed off to the left, right? It was on cooldown down there. So.
Yeah, no, he's happy. Yeah. That was a close one.
Dyrachyo not too happy with that death, though. It seems like both carries are a little bit too far forward. Like maybe each team needs a Lotus Orb or something like that, so maybe protect a little bit from these jumps.
He's gonna get hook shot on, and the item is still down there, but he pops the uproar. No more bashes as a result, at least temporarily. Dyrachyo's come to play as well. There's a zip in from Boom. The focus again onto Yuragi, and he's dead again! Third time they've done this. Taiga, he's in his jetpack, and he's TPing home. They find a lone Jakiro, though. So Misha drops to the deck, and GAIMIN seem to have turned this game around completely. They've been winning every little engagement since that Aegis was taken.
Is it time, Shannon? Is this when you buy A on this convoy?
Oh, man. I mean, do you think status resist would help here, or is that not enough? I mean, it obviously feels bad to have to go for it, but...
He even swapped out his status resist, right? He gave away the Titan Sliver to get a ninja gear, so... I think in this, it's actually kind of ironic. I think in this moment he might have actually survived with the Titan Sliver if he had had it. I think that would have... Out of the 3 times they killed him this way, this one it might have worked. And that was the time he didn't have it. I don't know. I'm joking about the disc, of course, but they need to find some sort of way of protecting their Void. OG have really dropped the ball a little bit here in the last few minutes.
Yeah, Boom has Sheepstick now.
That's huge. So, yeah, now... I don't know, I do think you have to play tighter around the Void. And keep in mind, OG have 1 Force Staff and it's on the Viper. He has the Pipe.
Boom actually initiates onto BZM, but there's the Eon Disc proccing for him. Dyrachyo trying to re-engage, but he's going to get the Infest off onto Boom. He's just getting bashed into Oblivion, into the Rolling Thunder. They take out the Storm Spirit. Beautiful coordination from OG as Ace kind of left all alone right now, but he's a big, juicy boy, so might not want to touch him here, Cinderin. BZM gets off the bash. Ace has to use Refresher, and he gets bashed mid-TP. Oh, but gets off the Onslaught and into the Yules. I would assume this is going to be a kill eventually, but he gets off the Pulverize now. He's going to get this kill on the BZM, pops the Shard, and Ace just getting kited with the time dilation on top, and eventually the big bad beast is dead.
That is terrifying, though. The fact that he almost turns that into a kill is kind of ridiculous. Again, the damage recap for the... How many fights does Ace have to do more damage than his teammates combined?
Man, I'm sold on the Ags, by the way. It's really good.
I'm very impressed, too, I have to say. It's doing more than I was expecting.
But the result of this fight means that third Roche with Aghanim Scepter on OG. Yuragi's going to take the Ags, so now he will bash via the Time Walk.
Yep.
Of course, that won't help him survive.
It will be a very reliable way for him of stopping the Primal Beast from doing his thing, though.
And now they're attempting to go high ground. No Storm for 15 seconds. You can see Ace does have buyback, despite being dead for 50 right now. Hook shot. And Tofu, he is donezo.
No buyback on him.
Yeah, 90 seconds of no silencer. That is big. Now they're focusing down onto Celery. He does have buyback himself, but Amar and company really want to go deep. The Chronosphere completely whipped other than Amar, and that is going to likely be the death of him. We'll see if he gets the tips or not, but either way, technically speaking, GAIMIN does defend, and now the zip from Boom, finding the Jakiro. Double kill for him now. So they defend, and they got, no, the Aegis is still there, and it's still 4 minutes on the Aegis. And full buybacks here for OG as well, but that did require 2 buybacks on GAIMIN, so it was costly, Syndra.
And a helpful Chrono.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. I mean, you can totally understand why he's going for that chrono. If it lands, we're going to have the replay here. So I really like this engage first off from Taiga. There's a 1-minute cooldown and Silencer's buyback. I think OG have track of this here, so they know it's a high-impact kill. They find the Maiden here. And if this chrono connects on the Storm there, they kill them both. We're talking 0.3 seconds, so it's like easy to be like, lol, what are you doing, Yuragi?
Oh, we got a double buyback from OG as they've lost their mid-set of racks. And that means GAIMIN resetting. You can see Amar not too happy with being chronoed by his teammate. Understandable. The ace is infested on. You can see GAIMIN, if they can get a nice little cheeky kill on the BZM, that'll be a dieback.
Okay.
Zip. Okay, that's the Aghanim Scepter. Electric Vortex onto the both supports, and they're both dead just like that. And now pulverized, but the Eon Disc procs is BZM trying to find some distance. Dyrachyo and company trying to focus down Yuragi again. There's the onside. There's the first deck.
Do they have more stuns?
We'll see. Spawns back in. Frostbite is dispelled instantly. Celery getting okay. Boom goes in with another big stun. The Yule's keeping BZM alive, but this might be the death of him. Gets off the short and the swashbuckle. He's alive, but there's the onside again. Are you serious? BZM still lives. That would have been an enormous kill just based on not having buyback anymore.
Oh my god, I can't believe
OG dodging a bullet.
That.
My goodness.
Such a great initiation from GAIMIN Gladiators, all set up by that offensive observer ward that they had in the base, seeing both supports. And they get a great jump with the AoE Vortex into follow-up Primal Beast Onslaught. But still, in the end, I don't know if the backtrack gods were helping out the Void there as well to delay this maybe a little bit further. But look at that beautiful engage there. Easy double kill there. And now, keep in mind, Ace, I don't know if you mentioned this, he has the Pulverize talent. Did you mention that? The 25 talent? So the Primal Beast has two amazing choices to make. At 25, you either double the duration of Pulverize, or you make it Pierce BKB.
BZM gonna use his shard, but they're gonna try to focus down Amar. The open wounds is ripping him a new one, but there's the Chronosphere. Oh, he gets popped outside. Boom will live. Unbelievable. And we'll see if they're able to turn this around as Yuragi. Oh my god, he time walks everything off. But BZM is taking the brunt of the damage, uses the shield crash, trying to get back to his base, but the onslaught finally finishes off the Pangolier. Dyrachyo barely alive as the Uproar doing a good amount of damage, but Ace will finally fall. So technically a 1-for-1 exchange. Tofu able to TP out. Everything is so close.
Everything is literally like 1 millimeter getting bounced out of the chrono, 1 millisecond on the TP, everything just tooth and nail. I thought OG might have lost the game there, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, when he gets bumped out of that chrono, I think Void was on 5% health and got time walk off. Like, so close to both sides. You're going to see everything here. So that Rolling Thunder is now going to be on top of Boom. There's the chrono. So now he gets bounced out, gets force-staffed, and now Yuragi is going to drop super low, backtracking some of the damage.
Yeah, just
some. In and out.
Oh, meanwhile, Amar, he's dead. 115 seconds of no Viper. Big kill for GAIMIN.
Was he just out solo pushing mid?
Yes.
His teammates were too far away to help him. He does not have buyback.
That might be it.
And Pango's dead as... I mean, I guess the reason he feels somewhat comfortable doing that is Primal Beast is dead. You're not safe if your teammates aren't there.
They're playing it safe. They're not going to go for Throne despite being in a 4v5 advantage or 4v3 advantage. So we'll take the top set of racks and then can waddle their way back down to bottom to get megas. But still so much time without these heroes. But here's the initiation. Global silence, but the instant BKB. But now the bash applied to Yuragi. Now trying to focus down Dyrachyo. He's going to have to time walk out, and instead they're going to lose Taiga. Does have buyback, though. Yeah. That's 2 sets. Now to the bottom lane they go. Still 30 seconds until their Primal Beast is back.
I actually think OG had to try for that. If they don't do it, they lose the lane for free and the play just happens bottom instead. Now they have a buyback play, potentially, with a 10-second cooldown on Chrono. This is defendable because Ace is dead and Pango is spawning. GAIMIN actually needs to be a little bit cautious here, but they don't know necessarily what could be coming their way right now. Nice rage reaction on the ice path, though. Bash.
Gets bashed inside, though.
Chrono is available.
Yuragi.
Not gonna try it.
Yeah, reverse time walk back out. And you can see Amar obviously dead for 30 seconds. He's the one holding cheese as well, so that's an important item potentially that's still sidelined. But now it's a 5v4 until Amar is back, but they were not able to secure megas. And OG still have everything at their disposal once Amar is back online. Man, what?
This is not at all how I imagined this game playing out 30 minutes ago. Like, no way would I have imagined that we were getting this. What a treat, though. It feels like every team fight has some sort of detail that means everything.
Yeah, and it's always something very small, technically speaking, right?
Like one key backtrack, or one hero getting pushed a little, or one perfect force stab.
All right, the initiation onto Uragi. He's going to get pulverized. Is this enough? It is, but he does have buyback available. The bash not enough to keep Boom in place. Big rolling thunder from BZM as the Viper strike now to Dyrachyo. He's going to get chronoed as well, and he's going to be brought down. He also has buyback, though, but that's the bigger kill on Ace, who does not.
And he used Refresher, too, before he died, which I guess actually doesn't matter because he doesn't have buybacks. Thank you, Shane.
Great analysis, as always, from Cinderin. As now OG, I don't know who's in the driver's seat. I don't even know.
I feel like, have they kept track of this buyback timing on Primal? Like, it's a minute away. Sometimes you don't have the exact timing, and it's like on a hunch, right? If you know for a fact it's not up, this is where you could push for barracks. And again, they do kill Uragi, but this time in his own base with the buyback.
Pulverizes are absurd.
Imagine if Ace gets level 30.
Yeah,
so he has the other talent too, because that is just absolutely dirty. 100% pulverized duration that pierces magic immunity makes it effectively a 6-second single target stun.
Yeah.
That does AoE damage.
Not too bad.
And it lines up perfectly with your BKB duration, right? You pop BKB blink in, 6-seconder into a 6-second pulverize. Couldn't be better.
Wind Waker.
OG are not going to capitalize on this at all.
Yeah.
They can't. But they will have their eyes on potentially Roche, which we know it's going to be a while. The potential spawn time is already up, so it could spawn at any second, and neither team is scouting it right now. Obviously, OG will buy a Raucous there as soon as Taiga is up. We don't know yet. And I do think the crucial thing there is, sure, OG defend their base, and it is a pretty good teamfight win, but I think Void's buyback is worth more than 5k net worth. Like, I think if Gaming Gladiators lead was 10k before that fight and it dropped to 5, I still think I would consider that a win for the time being, because they have a clear way to victory now.
Yes.
Killing Void ends the game.
I mean, look at the buyback situation right now.
Yep.
All 5 of OG have none.
Yep.
All 5 for GAIMIN have theirs.
You just need any sort of good core kill, especially faceless, and I feel like you've got this one locked down. You also have a 9-second BKB on Boom. He finally buys it and does buyback.
A very late game BKB.
He got it minute 53. Okay, Taiga.
Is that going to be the kill onto support? But there's a global silence. Boom comes in with a beautiful electric vortex onto 2. The support is already dead, and Amar extremely low on top. But he pops the cheese. Now he's taking the right clicks from Dyrachyo. But there's the Chronosphere with the Macro Pyre on top. Is it enough to take out Dyrachyo? It's going to be close. He gets silent, so cannot rage, cannot use open runes. But he dies and buys back. 3 dead for OG. No buybacks available, and that might do it. GAIMIN will have a free path to this next Roche.
Yeah, they're going to get
free
Misha
path
too.
potentially for the game.
Misha doesn't have buyback either.
Indeed.
4 dead on the sidelines.
Misha is done.
If they've kept track of the buybacks, they don't do this. So Gaming Gladiators don't actually know the game state here. This is 100% over if they just push.
It's always very...
Absolutely no way Void could defend this.
Maybe they're just going for stats. They need Roche kills, Cinderin, to get their quest completed.
Yep.
Maybe that's a bonus that GAIMIN Gladiators, the org, will give them. The more Roche kills.
We promised you would bring you the...
Oh, we get to see Lifestealer, Aghanim Scepter. Uragi, he's going to get punished. The sheep stick is there. Please use Infest on top of him. For the love of God, no, we won't. But it's a full team wipe, and GG is called as GG. GAIMIN Gladiators extend it to game number 3. What a game. I was not expecting them to come back, but that was it the second Roche? Or was it the one they snuck? The one they snuck.
Yeah, they
basically won in the game.
Behind. What an insane comeback this was, honestly. Like, that's got to be such a huge morale boost too. You know that you were losing that game, and you still clawed your way back into it. You made the right moves. I think, obviously, Boom on the Storm really pushed the hero to its limits. It wasn't always perfect, but most of the time really found the right opportunities. Together with Dyrachyo on the Lifestealer, and man, Ace. Talk about a carry performance on Primal Beast. He had 2 or 3 team fights where 2 of his cores are dead.
Yeah.
And he finds trades, keeps himself in the game. The ultra kill he got top propels him to get that refresher that has such a huge impact later in the game. Everything just came together. I'm super impressed.
They were able to take, I mean, those kills on Yuragi throughout the game.
Yeah.
Where he is stun
He's gotta
locked.
be kicking himself.
He literally has no time to even react. That has just great play from GAIMIN, great comeback for them. Let's go to the panel so they can wrap up game 2 and we can get to game 3 very soon.
Thank you very much. The curse has been broken. GAIMIN Gladiators are the first to prove that you can tie on the main stage of the International 11. We're going the distance. We're going to that third game. And my oh my, in what fashion are they able to do that? Of course, joined by Jenkins, Lacoste, and Effie. Jenkins, this game, it started out with everybody thinking, like, you know what? 2-0. It's another 2-0 on the main stage.
Yeah, it did look that way. The Viper lane, Amar did very well versus Lifestealer. We were talking about it backstage. The fact that with the nerfs to Rage, it feels like you can't really just, rage off the Viper debuffs. But GAIMIN Gladiators, they won through sheer outplay in the team fights in the late game. Ace got an ultra kill on his own.
It's about to happen.
It's about to happen.
He was alone.
How? It's so good.
He was alone, and the casters at this point are already saying, Ace sure to fall. He takes 2 more
Ace sure
with
to
him.
fall, but he got an ultra kill, I guess. All right.
But yeah, it was just sheer tenacity from Gladiators. It looked really bad for them at certain points, but they just held on and they came back with a vengeance. But also just as their heroes scaled and as they were able to get this item progression and the gems to take away OG's vision, the Abyssal, the AC on Lifestealer, who's suddenly able to fight the Void Spirit at the Faceless Void, and they just had so much lockdown coming out for him, which I didn't actually expect him to have. But once the Storm got his items too and started to get these surprise zips and the hexes,
The sheep was really important,
It felt like Faceless Void was stun locked in so many fights, and they just had a means to catch the Pango as well. But we do have to talk about some of the misplays that OG did with the Chronospheres.
I think they were forced
They were a couple where there's a rolling thunder inside a chrono, then he gets bounced from it.
I get it though. I actually get it because of exactly what you were mentioning. It's the double hexes, the basher, the global sounds. It felt like he had to. He's like, I just got a chrono. I got a chrono. They keep hexing me. They keep grabbing me. I have to chrono. And then the chronos are on his team more than the enemy team because he's feeling pressured to do it.
I feel like a bit of lack of items on supports from OG because they did itemize very selflessly. I would say, sure, you can think about Guardian Greaves. It's a good choice, don't get me wrong, where he can dispel the global silence, counter-initiate with the hook shot, but the only one who had it was pretty much Amar with the pike because Amisha, he did have Eon Disc to protect himself and also Yule Scepter to be able to dispel the global silence. I feel like maybe a Lotus Orb or another Force Staff would make a difference there. So many times this Faceless Void being caught and I think we wanted to see Boom on an explosive hero, and this is one of his best, if not the best hero. He's shown it time and time during all 3 DPC tours, and also the execution of some of these fights. It makes it very easy for GAIMIN Gladiators, where you have Infest Bomb with the Storm to follow it up with the Global Silence. OG, they understood every single time they do that, we need to take another shot, immediately. They go for a fight because they know without Global Silence being available, they need to make stuff done.
Yeah, at the start of the game, before the draft even began, we said that one of the criticisms on GAIMIN Gladiators in the past has been that they've been fairly predictable. I think that this game in particular, we saw the end of that draft with them shifting the Primal Beast back to the position 3 and getting that hero, getting the Storm Spirit for Boom. It kind of saved the game for them, saved the draft for them, and it blew the game wide open. It took a little while to get to that in the game, but it worked out, absolutely. It's going to be a story of momentum here because this is the first time we get to a game 3, Jenkins.
Thank GAIMIN. Thank GAIMIN. It's just ridiculous. And it was a good game too. That's the thing. It was a good game too. It wasn't just GAIMIN Gladiators turning around and stomping. And I almost forget what the narrative is for what happens in game 3s. What do we say? Is usually game 3 is stomp in one direction?
Yeah,
what do we usually say with these?
Is it?
I think GAIMIN Gladiators, they
yes, we do. We say the same thing.
They definitely do have an upper hand here because this is a momentum for them. This is a big W. And OG, they knew that they had this game in the bag. And also one more thing to notice is this break mechanic from Aghanim Scepter on Primal Beast. He breaks Viper, he breaks Faceless Void Bash, he breaks level 25 talent on Faceless Void, which is Backtrack. One of the few things that like you can break a talent, which sounds ridiculous, but it does work. And also BZM's passive ability, so you know that there's not going to be a disarm, which Lifestealer does not like to play into.
It's going to be very interesting to see how this matchup develops as we go to a third game. We're going to read up on what we're supposed to do when it goes to a third game, because we haven't had that yet. And while we do that, we're heading over to Slacks and Casey to hear what they have to say.
Hello, hello. Yes, we are in the arena. It has finally happened. Thank
Really happened, but thank you.
You got global silence.
You got global silence real hard there. That's what the silencer does to you. I mean, there was also a Mask of Madness, I believe, sitting next to him.
Ace Nightstalker too, and I
they
think
activated it. That's also activating a silence, so then everything just falls apart. So here we are. But we did actually, you know, quickly check what we're supposed to do when it goes to game 3. These are very tense moments for these teams. They got such a small amount of time to think about this, to adjust. And of course, while the game is going on, the coach already has a big job. And like, okay, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? What's important? I think the most important thing is very simple. Try to reset Effie. Try to get back to not feeling like you just lost, not feeling like you just win. Just go back from the start.
The most important thing that a player can have in a LAN environment is the ability to recuperate and to recover after losses, because some of them can feel so brutal, right? Especially in games where you know you did something wrong. Some people can, I mean, if I were a carry player and I chronoed a teammate and they died, I would feel horrible about it. And these things happen. The game was difficult. You were most likely going to lose anyway, and that play in particular did not lose you the game, right? So you have to be able to identify that and just move on. So just take a couple of deep breaths. Don't talk about the game anymore. Maybe talk about it later if you do win, but for now, just talk about what you're going to do next.
You need to be able to reset, stop thinking about game 1, game 2. For now, it's just the best of 1 elimination game.
Yep. Okay, we're going to see once again if the global silence has ended on the side of Slacks and Casey. Let's head over to them.
Hello, hello, can you hear me, ladies and gentlemen? We are here for the first game 3 of the International here. Are we hyped? Things are crazy. Some would say things are mad, right? Pun?
I'm losing my mind.
There you go, perfect pun, my friend. What did you think about that series? Are you hyped up?
It's about time we got to game 3, I think.
Yeah.
Primal Beast, Ags, I think that's my favorite spell in the entire game. Yeah.
That was good to see then, yes. Any recommendations from the Mask of Madness himself about what they should do in this final game?
I think they should pick Prowl and build Mask of Madness.
Wow, very creative. Thank you so much. Casey, do you have anybody? What do you got over there? How's the crowd feeling over there for you, Casey?
Well, right now they look a little sleepy, so could you wake up? Thank you. So it's kind of convenient, don't you think, that OG and GG sound so similar when you cheer? Because backstage we're like, wait, are they? Oh, now they're chanting for GG. So I decided to find some fans from each side to prove their worth. Sir, how many TIs have you been to now?
Oh, it must be 6 or 7. If you count, it depends if you count the last one.
Yeah. And you're here. You think who is going to take it all the way here in this game 3?
I think OG's going to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, these guys are pros. They were ahead there. We've all been there where we lose a game where we're ahead. I think they're going to reset and come back like in a fresh game 3.
You're amazing. I love that you said we've all been there, like, you know, on the TI stage. No biggie, no big whoop. Thank you so much, and thanks for coming to so many.
Thank you, Casey.
Yeah, okay, and then I know, sir, are you pretending to be a GG fan because you promised me you were, and then I turned around and you're wearing this hat?
I think I'm a GG fan now. GG is so good now.
What do you mean so good now?
I mean, yeah, group stage is so...
Okay, you've been a fan of GG for how many minutes?
1 hour.
1 hour. You know what? I'll take it. Who else is thinking GG? By the way, very confusing because GG and GG sound very similar. So somebody's gonna GG. It might be GG or OG. All right, you with me? Wow, 1 woo. What is wrong with you guys? Get back in here, Slacks. We gotta get this crowd all fired up.
Don't worry about it. It's gonna be a GG easy for OG, maybe GG, but either way, we're gonna go to a little video. So goodbye, crowd. Enjoy this wonderful video content.
Video content. This is being recorded. Jenkins.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this video where we're going to be a panel. Sorry. What is he talking about? What are they doing?
I don't even want to know, but what I do think is really cool, there's somebody who counts into 60 ice. That's impressive,
Yeah,
right
get
there.
this guy on the panel. Get Jenkins out. We want to see this guy on the panel right now. He definitely has more info.
Talking about Bulba?
No, the guy.
The guy that went to 60
Oh, that guy. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that guy. He went to the last one. That's cool.
That is cool. This guy went to the last one as well.
Yeah,
It's
he did.
Misha. He was a coach for a different OG at that point, and now he's the position 5. Still a very important role to be able to get that team back to the 0 line and start from scratch here with the game and the third and deciding game here in the lower bracket. Extra important, extra pressure, but you got to focus on one thing only. It all starts with that draft. Should be upon us fairly soon. And when talking about that, when thinking about that, where do we start? Where do you go? Because Primal Beast, I think, is the first thing that I look at. Is like, okay, OG let it through once, let's ban it again.
If they have first pick, I think they don't need to ban it. If they don't, I think this is how GG won the game. Like, it was Primal Beast plus the Storm Spirit. The rest of the team also played well, but Ace on this hero really made a difference.
Yeah.
I think that Gladiators maybe have identified that the way to beat OG is to probably just beat them at their own game, and that they're not going to play for this heavy 5-man group up, buying this Wraith Pact and this pipe. No, they're going to try to outscale them, not lose too much on their lanes, and just take it late. Because OG are a team that like to farm up, right? They have this tri-core thing that they haven't changed since TI. Sometimes they will slow down after their lane dominance and just farm it up, buy some Midases. So if GG are going to play that game and try to outscale them, they honestly might have a shot to just make it to the next round. Like, they could actually win here.
Yeah, I mean, if you think you can beat OG in team fights late game and you go, relatively even. There were points where either team was ahead, but in the grand scheme of things, fairly even. Why not just go late and outplay them? I do think the Primal Beast was a big factor there. There's a reason that teams are, first phase banning this hero. It is a little overpowered, and I think Ace played it phenomenally. Like, just the fact that, we saw in that game, like, the charge goes through cogs, and the charge in another game we saw goes through Spirit Breaker charge. It overrides everything because he's the new hero, and so that's like always how these heroes
He's
get added
a dinosaur.
to Dota.
Of course he's going to override everything.
Right, and it's the same thing with Marcy. She could throw people out of Chrono and Black Hole, which would be impossible because of the Event Horizon, of course, FE, and it's like, but that's the thing.
She actually can't do that anymore.
No, she can't anymore. They nerfed that, finally. There's some things, but yeah, I think so. The hero's overtuned. I think that's something that the coach can say, okay, we just made a mistake leaving that in. Let's just reset, ban that hero, play normal Dota, because that's not normal Dota with that hero.
There also might be a re-emergence of Enigma in this game 3. I mean, it's the deciding game. This is a hero that both teams have won with before. It's one of the best heroes in the patch right now, and it's just been ignored for 2 whole games. So this could be the one where we see it come out in the first phase.
Yeah, game 3 is definitely the time for that. That's like a clutch hero.
You know what I want to see? I think this is the hero that I expected it to be picked way more, especially coming out from OG, Arc Warden. I've been really impressed the way Iraqi has been playing it. They did try it out one time. They lost the game. Maybe they lost the confidence. Maybe we don't have all the info. Maybe in the scrims they were also losing with the hero. But the way he played it, like during the majors and DPC, big fan. Like there's something to this hero that can hold the high ground for a very long time. It's also a hero that plays very aggressive with the advantage. And once he hits his timing with the Octarine Aghanim's, it's just extremely difficult to play.
All right, it is time to find out what the teams have in store for each other, and if we're going to have that Arc Warden, yes or no. It's over to the draft for Game 3.
GAIMIN Gladiators versus OG. Game 3.
Gladiators turn to battle.
Now, before the series starts, you can, of course, theory craft a lot of openings in that draft. You can, like, spar, basically, with your coach and your captain to see how things are going to go down. But once you get to that third game of a best of 3, there's mind games at play. You've got 2 extra games of information. You got to process them real fast. And it is all about what you identified as the threat from the previous game. So far, it has not yet been Primal Beast. We got actually also a little bit of a difference coming out from Gaming Gladiators. The previous 2 games, they banned out Razor and Timbersaw. Now letting Timbersaw in and banning out the Snapfire instead. And on the other side, OG actually thinking quite a little bit about who they are going to ban next to Marcy. Previous game, they, of course, banned Undying and Shadow Fiend, and the game before that, it was both Marcy and Primal Beast, but so far, not yet set on that there it is. Okay,
Get it out.
Get it out.
I got another prediction.
Okay.
This is going to be on the Arc Warden level. Tinker. BZM Tinker. I could see that coming out. I feel like that hero is getting picked a lot in pubs with the recent buffs prior to TI. People were feeling it. It's just a specialist hero, and you need the right game for it, but I do think it's really overpowered in the right game for it. And game 3, the elimination match, you might pull it out.
I also think just BZM Invoker did so much for them that they could run it again here. It really did look effective, and it's going to fix any kind of scaling issues that they may have had in game 2, because Pangolier does not scale nearly as well as you would like him to for games that go to minute 45 onwards.
Oh, this is some old school combo. Jakiro plus Naga Siren being able to execute. Yeah, it's easy to execute, but we still don't see something that happened in game number 1 where they picked this Naga Siren early on. Taiga played it in the end, but also did a bit of a confusion, even I would say, because Underlord was last pick for Gladiators, and then OG counterpicked with the Monkey King. So they still got to be careful. It's a hero that was also played by Uragi before. He did extremely well. I think he might have also broken some records on the hero. But yeah, looking at the bans this time around, you did say that Timbersaw's still in the pool, and now this Snapfire ban makes sense because they were aiming for this Undying. Snapfire really good with Little Shredder to be able to take down Tombstone immediately.
So they end up going for the Shadow Fiend again on Gladiators. It didn't work out well for them in the game 1. They lost to a Naga Siren support, they lost to a Monkey King and an Invoker. So I wonder if OG are just going to run back a potential drops. Yes, there is a key difference here in the Undying, but I do feel at this point of TI, at this point of the meta, teams have figured out the best way to play against Undying. It's not a hero that catches anyone off guard.
Yeah, and something that Janken said, it feels like teams did figure out how to play against Shadow Fiend. Because you did mention the Bloodseeker, there was also Monkey King that builds into Basher. Heroes that, like, Slaughter was extremely, because he doesn't buy Basher, but he's the one buying a BKB, so not affected by Requiem and then getting on top of him, so that's a good solution.
Even the snipers looked good against it, which GAIMIN took out. It's like a different approach rather than like sitting on the SF and making it so that he can't just sit there and trade right-click you by perma-bashing. You're standing at a distance, SF can't hit you, and then you're also headshotting him, so he can't just sit there and trade with you without a BKB, even if he does get on top of you.
It did look pretty good, and it's really cool. I think, or I hope at least, we're going to see a lot more of the Sniper and Sven combination, because it looked like the better version of the SF plus Sven combination. But Sniper as a standalone hero with potentially a Naga support and a Jakiro support to back him up isn't as strong as the Sniper we did see beat a Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. But the nice thing about Naga Jakiro is the flexibility of the two and the fact that it just makes team fights so easy. Like, I feel like between these two heroes, you have tower push, you have magic damage, you have heroes that can stack camps, like lane shove. It makes the rest of your draft, you can just kind of respond to whatever GAIMIN Gladiators picks. And they do go back for the Invoker.
I like that they did this, honestly. It worked out so well in game 1. What they have to do to give this Invoker the best game possible, though, would be to pick a kill-heavy side lane, whether it be the safe lane with Monkey King again with the Jakiro, or have it be an offlaner that has some kind of stun or disable that can set up for these sunstrikes. That is a condition that I do believe they have to meet, because that was the reason why Invoker was able to kind of outlive and outsustain this Gladiator's 5-man. And speaking of 5-man, they go for the Beastmaster and the Undying and the SF. You know they're going to play for these early rushes. You know they're going to play for these early pushes.
Yeah, they need a hero in the mid lane that can deal with the Invoker. I wouldn't mind seeing something like Leshrac that will give them like strong mid-game momentum with the Undying Shadow Fiend with his level 15 talent, and also Beastmaster with his aura.
Disruptor.
Oh. Okay, they're saving their pick for last. Mid one.
Man, they really like running this position 5 as a 4 thing. Like every game it's been...
Hey, it's something that Tundra did as well, because they're running position 5 Mirana.
Dude, but they are running 4s as 5. I feel like Gaming Gladiators is running 5s as 4.
No, you're right. The support roles have just homogenized.
Yeah, they have. They really have.
In this tournament.
Disruptor kind of owns here, in my opinion. I was wondering if they were just going to go back for the Silencer, a la their last 2 games, but I like the idea of Disruptor with a Vision hero, right? You have the Hawks from Beastmaster, so it already sets up for the Glimpse. You have the AoE silence and damage on the Naga Legions. It stops her from casting songs, so if she's going to play it as a carry here, her effectiveness is reduced. Also, if this Naga is split pushing or scouting with her illusions, Glimpse insta-kills them. So if they send an illusion uphill into Gladiator's triangle, Disruptor can just get rid of it just like that.
Yeah. This Disruptor pick, why they decided to go with position 4/5 is they did not want to reveal anything because they want to still have an option to put this Shadowfiend on a mid lane. They do not want to reveal the matchups. And also Vision game from Gaming Gladiators. It's going to be through the roof this time around. You're going to have Tombstone for the Glimpses back, Hawk as well, Summons from the Beastmaster. All this attack speed will increase the damage output from the Shadowfiend as well, and you're going to be able to set things up with the Glimpse.
Okay, thank God. I was going to say that OG needs some Blink Stun hero because this SF is still unaddressed and it was in the first phase, right?
Yeah.
And so you have this Blink Stun hero in Sand King that can get on top of this SF early on. Sand King has a very early Blink timing that his teammates can play around. But also the Sandstorm is going to be really nice later on with the Blind versus Shadowfiend if the game does go very late. And of course you have the setup for Sunstrikes, which we talked about. It's really important that you have that if you're going to run this Exort Invoker, because that's the assumption that I'm going to make.
Yeah. Also the reason why Taiga did pick up an early point in Snare, because he was playing with the Invoker. It's also a great setup. Anything that can enable your Invoker to have a good game is going to have a lot of value.
And I think OG also, from what we've seen